Have you ever wondered why experienced prospectors spend more time studying rocks than searching for gold itself? Gold rarely appears by accident. It follows geological patterns that have formed over millions of years. Fractures, quartz veins, altered rocks, and mineral-rich structures can all leave behind clues that valuable deposits may be nearby. To most people, these features look like ordinary stone, but to a trained eye, they tell the story of hidden mineral wealth. Learning to recognize these natural patterns can help you understand where gold is more likely to occur. Today, we're exploring the key geological signs that could mean gold is closer than you think.
What if the ground you walk across every day is quietly revealing where gold and valuable minerals are hiding? Not with giant treasure signs, not with visible nuggets everywhere, but through patterns, fractures, colors, crystal growth, mineral stains, rock structure. Tiny geological clues most people never notice, because valuable ground is almost never random. Gold, gemstones, and high-value minerals form where specific geological systems once existed deep underground. And the strange part? Those ancient systems still leave signals behind today, signals professionals immediately recognize. That's why experienced prospectors stop the moment they see certain rock patterns, while everyone else keeps walking. In this video, we're breaking down the exact geological signs that can indicate valuable ground, from hidden fracture systems and mineralized rock structures to the unusual crystal patterns that often appear near gold-bearing environments. Because once you understand what these rocks are actually telling you, ordinary landscapes stop looking ordinary forever. Gold is often viewed as something that requires fancy machines, toxic chemicals, and a lot of luck. But what if I told you the best gold tools are already right under your feet? No acids, no expensive equipment, no overcomplicated processes. Just nature's gold tools, from rivers and rocks to the force of gravity and the steady hand of time. In this video, we're diving deep into why the smartest prospectors don't rely on the latest technology or hazardous chemicals. They trust nature itself. And here's the secret that most people miss. Nature has been guiding us to gold for millions of years. It's been quietly shaping the land, pushing the gold in directions we can track, if we know what to look for. Let's face it, gold doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It follows a pattern, a path, a natural order. This is where geology and nature's blueprint come in. Gold is transported by powerful underground fluids, carried through fractures and structures you'd never see, unless you knew the signs. In the next few minutes, I'll show you exactly how rivers, rock formations, and even gravity act as nature's invisible gold map. When most people think of finding gold, they picture massive machinery or complex extraction methods. But the truth is, the most successful prospectors know how to read the land, how to recognize the clues that nature has already laid out for them. Here's a question for you. Have you ever looked at a riverbed and thought, that's just dirt and rocks? Well, think again. Rivers, over millennia, don't just move dirt. They move gold. Through the forces of erosion, water flow, and gravity, rivers naturally concentrate gold into certain spots. The heaviest material sinks to the bottom, leaving you with rich pockets of placer gold where the current slowed down. And guess what? The same applies to the rock patterns you see in the mountain slopes, riverbanks, and stream beds. The right rocks can tell you exactly where gold is hiding. Fractured quartz, iron-stained veins, and layered formations are all natural clues. Nature's map that leads you to treasure. Here's the thing. Gold doesn't just hide in shiny rocks. In fact, some of the best gold-hosting rocks look far from impressive. Fractured rock, rusty surfaces, dull iron staining. These aren't just ugly rocks. They're gold's favorite hiding spots. When the Earth is pushed, folded, and cracked under pressure, it opens natural pathways for gold to travel through. These fractures trap gold in microscopic particles, and once you know what to look for, those dirty, broken rocks suddenly become gold maps. What does this mean for you? The next time you walk past a creek, an exposed mountain face, or a barren riverbed, ask yourself, what's hidden beneath the surface? Gold doesn't sit on top, it settles. It waits to be found, trapped within the rocks. This is where things get fascinating. Gravity is gold's silent partner. Over time, the gold carried by rivers and fluids settles in specific spots where the flow slows. Lighter materials get carried away, but heavier gold drops in the right places. Look at gold-bearing rivers and you'll often find the heaviest concentrations around natural bends, drop zones, or places where water flow decreases. These are gold traps, and once you learn how to spot them, you're not just looking at rocks or water anymore. You're tracking gold. Now let's talk about time. Time is gold's ally. Gold didn't just appear overnight. It was carried, moved, and deposited over millions of years. Every time a river flows, every time the earth shifts, gold settles deeper into the ground. Time shapes everything, from how gold deposits form to where it ends up. This is why old riverbeds, ancient fault lines, and weathered rocks hold so much potential. Over time, the earth has pushed, pulled, and sorted the gold for you. Now the exciting part. You don't need expensive equipment to find gold. You need a keen eye and an understanding of nature's systems. By reading the land, recognizing the geological clues, and understanding how gold naturally travels, you can step into the world of professional prospecting without relying on machines, chemicals, or guesses. It's not just about finding gold. It's about investing in the right opportunities. Smart prospectors don't just look for gold. They understand where it's most likely to be. And once they find it, they turn it into long-term value, sometimes just by using the very natural resources that led them there. Ready to discover gold? Start with nature. Don't wait for a fancy machine or chemical extraction. Nature's already giving you the tools. Your job is to read the signs. Let the ground speak to you, and you'll understand exactly where to look next. And remember, gold is not just about shining rocks. It's about structure, pressure, and time. So start thinking like a pro. The treasure is right under your feet. We uncovered how gold doesn't just appear randomly. It follows geological pathways and structures created by nature itself. Now it's time to take these clues and turn them into actionable gold prospecting knowledge. We've talked about the land and the rocks, but now let's look at water, specifically rivers and streams. Rivers are gold's highway, where gold is carried from its source to its destination. But here's the catch. Gold doesn't travel far without leaving a trace. Every twist and turn of the river holds gold traps, and if you know where to look, you could be standing just inches away from treasure. Gold's density is its biggest advantage. It sinks faster than other materials. So in a river, when the water slows down, gold drops to the bottom. And not just anywhere. It concentrates in specific spots, forming pockets of placer gold. Think about it this way. Gold doesn't just get swept away by the current. It moves according to the water's flow and speed. In places where the water slows down, like behind boulders, around curves, or in deeper pools, gold will settle. Old riverbeds, once rich in gold, can now be gold mines, if you know how to read them. Let's take a step back and talk about the old school way of finding gold, the method that still works today. Panning. Panning is simple. It doesn't require expensive equipment or a degree in geology. It requires patience and a keen eye. The goal isn't to rush, it's to work with nature. To pan for gold, you need a pan, water, and dirt, or more specifically, sediment from rivers or stream beds. The trick is to allow the gold particles to settle to the bottom of the pan. Here's the catch. The heavier the gold, the quicker it sinks to the bottom. The lighter materials, like sand or gravel, wash away. But even with something as simple as a pan, success doesn't come from blind chance. It comes from knowing where to look. You need to search the right spots where gold has had time to accumulate. Now that you know the basics of panning, the next question is, where do you pan? This is where geological patterns come into play. Remember when we talked about fractures, folds, and faults? These aren't just geological features, they're gold highways. Wherever there's been pressure, movement, or heat, there's a good chance that gold has settled in those areas. Look for shallow rivers, deep pools, bends in the water, and rocks that create natural barriers. These spots slow down the current and let gold settle. And while panning might seem like a slow process, in the right spot, it can be incredibly rewarding. Understanding how gold is deposited is just as important as knowing how to pan for it. So when looking for gold, think of the history of movement. Follow the flow of ancient rivers, the fractured rock that once held the fluid, and the places where gold would have naturally settled. These areas of movement are often rich in gold deposits, whether in the form of placer gold in rivers or veins of gold-bearing quartz in the hills. As we wrap up today's exploration, here's the key takeaway. Gold is not hidden by chance. Nature has designed its path. Gold moves through the earth, leaving clues in the landscape, the rock, and the riverbed. The real question isn't, where is gold? The real question is, where can gold exist? The ground is speaking, the rivers are whispering, and the rocks are telling you where gold might be. Now, all you have to do is listen and follow the clues. Now, here's where things become even more interesting. Because most valuable discoveries don't begin with gold itself. They begin with signals surrounding it. Experienced geologists rarely search blindly. Instead, they look for patterns hidden inside the host rock, alteration zones, pressure fractures, mineral staining, and crystal formations created by ancient hydrothermal fluids deep underground. And coming up next, we're going to reveal why certain rock structures immediately attract professional attention, including the hidden geological pathways that can quietly point toward mineral-rich ground most people completely overlook.
You're walking past valuable ground, and you don't even realize it, because the only signs that matter look completely worthless. And once you understand them, everything changes. By the end of this, you won't just recognize these crystals. You'll understand what they actually indicate, where they form, and why seeing them means you're no longer guessing. You're reading the ground with precision. Most ground looks the same. Soil, broken rock, weathered fragments. Nothing stands out. Nothing suggests value. Across large areas of the western United States, especially in regions like Nevada, Arizona, and parts of California, this assumption holds true. Because most land contains no gold, no valuable gemstones, no high-value mineral deposits, not because they are hidden, but because they were never there to begin with. This is where most people fail. They search everywhere. They move constantly. They rely on effort. But effort alone does not change geology. Value is not controlled by what you see. It is controlled by what happened. Every valuable mineral, every gemstone, every concentrated deposit is the result of a system defined by heat pressure fluid movement.
chemical change. Without these, nothing forms. Not gold, not rare minerals, not gemstones. And because these systems are limited, so are the locations that matter. This is why productive ground in the United States tends to cluster in specific geological belts rather than spread evenly. This creates a clear divide between ground that can produce value and ground that never will. But that divide is not obvious. It leaves signals, subtle ones, repeatable ones, and most of them are ignored. This is the real problem. The signals are visible, but they are misunderstood because they don't look valuable. Jasper looks dull. Agate looks ordinary. Chalcedony appears almost featureless. Pyrite is dismissed. Opal, in its raw form, often looks like nothing at all. So they are ignored, passed over, forgotten. But their appearance is not their purpose. They are not valuable because of what they are. They are valuable because of what they indicate. The first signal, jasper. Jasper is one of the most overlooked indicators. Dense, opaque, often red, brown, or yellow. Nothing about it attracts attention, but its presence is not random. Jasper forms in silica-rich environments. In many parts of the western United States, including volcanic terrains in Oregon and Nevada, jasper commonly appears where silica-rich fluids once moved through rock. Silica does not stay in place. It moves through fluids. It fills fractures. It replaces existing material. For jasper to exist, fluids must have moved through that ground. And fluid movement is critical, because fluids carry minerals. They transport elements. They create the conditions required for concentration. Jasper is not the target. It is the evidence that something moved and left a trace behind. The second signal. Agate introduces another level. Layered, banded, sometimes slightly translucent. It forms inside cavities, spaces within rock. Those spaces are not accidental. They represent structural breaks, points where the rock was interrupted, and where fluids were able to enter. In volcanic regions of states like Oregon and Arizona, agate commonly forms within gas cavities in basalt, confirming this exact process. Once inside, those fluids deposit material, layer by layer. Over time, this builds into agate. But the key detail is not the pattern. It is the process. Agate confirms a cavity existed. Fluids entered deposition occurred repeatedly. This is not passive. It is active. And active systems are where concentration becomes possible. Now the pattern begins to form. These materials are not isolated. They are connected. They point to movement change, chemical interaction. These are the exact conditions required for gold transport, gemstone formation, mineral concentration. But the picture is still incomplete because two signals are not enough. A system needs consistency. It needs reinforcement. The third signal. Chalcedony is even more subtle. Smooth, sometimes waxy, almost unremarkable, which is why it is ignored. But it is a form of a microcrystalline quartz, and quartz is one of the strongest indicators in geology because it forms from mineral-rich fluids. The same fluids responsible for many valuable deposits. In many western U.S. mineral districts, quartz and chalcedony are closely associated with hydrothermal systems that also host gold. Chalcedony confirms fluid movement was sustained. Conditions allowed stability, deposition continued over time. Now the system is no longer uncertain. It is becoming clear. Pyrite changes everything, then comes pyrite, often dismissed immediately, because it is not gold. But this is where most people make a critical mistake. In major gold-producing regions of the United States, such as Nevada and California, pyrite is commonly found alongside gold-bearing systems.
Pyrite forms in chemically active environments, where sulfur is present, where reactions occur, where conditions allow mineral formation. Now the system is no longer theoretical, it becomes probable. At this point, the pattern is undeniable. These materials are not separate. They are connected. Each one represents a part of the system. Jasper right arrow movement, agate right arrow cavity. Deposition chalcedony right arrow sustained activity. Pyrite right arrow chemical mineralization. Individually, they are incomplete. Together, they define something real. But one final signal remains, and it changes how everything is interpreted. The final signal. Opal behaves differently. It forms closer to the surface. In environments where silica-rich fluids deposit material under changing conditions. In places like Nevada, opal forms in volcanic terrains where silica-rich water moves and then evaporates or cools rapidly. Its structure reflects change, variation, fluctuation, not stability, but instability. And this is critical, because stable systems do not concentrate value. Changing systems do. Opal confirms that conditions shifted, that the system evolved. That movement did not remain constant. And where systems change, concentration becomes possible. These crystals are not valuable because of what they are. They are valuable because of what they prove. They prove that the ground you are standing on was once active, that fluids moved, that chemistry changed, that minerals were transported, and that the conditions required for value actually existed. And this is why most valuable ground is missed, not because it is hidden, but because it is misunderstood.
The biggest mistake most people make is believing valuable ground should look obvious. But geology doesn't work that way.
That's what you do.
Gold and high-value minerals hide inside systems, inside structures, inside subtle patterns written into the rock itself. And once you learn how to recognize those patterns, you begin seeing clues almost everywhere. A fracture zone no longer looks random. A mineral stain no longer looks meaningless. An ordinary rock suddenly becomes geological evidence. That's why professionals slow down when others keep moving. Because hidden beneath ordinary ground, there may be an entire mineral system waiting to be understood. If this video changed the way you look at rocks, geology, and hidden mineral signals, subscribe and stay with us. Because the Earth is constantly leaving clues, and most people never learn how to read them.
They look worthless, dusty, dull, and lifeless. But if you walked past these stones today, you might have stepped over a fortune that could change your life forever. Because hidden inside these worthless rocks lies gold, gemstones, and stories older than civilization itself. And tonight, we're uncovering them, one stone at a time. In the wild, nature disguises its treasures with remarkable precision. The dullest stones, those that most people kick aside, often hold the greatest secrets. Not every rich deposit glitters at first glance. Sometimes gold hides behind iron stains. Sometimes emeralds are trapped within rocks that look like simple mud. And sometimes fortune lies buried inside what we call worthless. To the trained eye, however, every rock has a story. Its color, weight, and texture whisper clues. And if you listen closely, the earth begins to speak. In dry riverbeds and old hillsides, there's a stone often mistaken for rusty debris. Iron oxide stained quartzite. Most people ignore it, but beneath that rusty skin, microscopic gold particles often cling to the quartz veins. Imagine picking up a dirty brownish rock, not realizing that inside, fine flakes of gold have fused between the grains. When crushed and panned, these stones reveal golden sparkles like fire caught in dust. This is how countless amateur prospectors made their first discovery. Not from nuggets shining in sunlight, but from worthless rocks that no one else cared to touch. Nature is an artist of concealment. Gold and gemstones form under immense heat and pressure, conditions that don't produce shiny surfaces, but fractured, coated minerals. Over time, weather, oxidation, and sediments disguise them further. Volcanic eruptions spew molten rock, trapping crystals within. Groundwater seeps through cracks, depositing minerals that look ordinary from outside. So the very process that creates wealth is the same one that hides it. That's why prospectors say, if it looks too perfect, it's probably not real. The first secret to uncovering hidden wealth is perception. The prospector's eyes are trained not for beauty, but for anomalies. A patch of red soil where others see plain earth. A line of black sand along a river bend. A heavy stone that feels wrong for its size. These are natural markers, silent signals of mineral presence. When you walk through a riverbed, the first question shouldn't be, what's pretty here? It should be, what's not supposed to be here? Because gold rarely appears in isolation. It's escorted by signs. Quartz veins, magnetite, iron oxides, sulfur smell, or unusual density. Every ugly rock around gold is there for a reason. Prospecting begins not with mining equipment, but with curiosity. Carry a simple bag and pick up stones that feel unusually heavy or different. Look for textures that show mineral intrusion, shiny specks, linear veins, or unnatural patterns. Even a rock that appears gray from afar may hold visible hints of color when wet. So whenever you are exploring, dip your rocks in water. Water enhances patterns, bringing hidden veins or metallic flashes to life. Gold-bearing stones often feel dense and gritty, and when broken, they reveal tiny flakes that reflect sunlight sharply. Don't rush. Observation is your most powerful tool. The pattern is clear. Ignorance hides fortune. Observation creates wealth. Let's go deeper. When hydrothermal fluids, hot water mixed with dissolved minerals, move through cracks, they deposit quartz, pyrite, and sometimes gold. These fillings harden, forming veins inside otherwise dull host rocks. Over millions of years, erosion exposes parts of these veins, but most remain hidden. That's why old, oxidized, ugly rocks matter. They're records of mineral migration. Their rust-colored coatings are clues that hot fluids once passed through. Follow those stains and you follow the trail of gold. Some of the most valuable gemstones appear rock-like until processed. Opal, for instance, forms in ironstone and sandstone. Its play of color completely invisible until cut. Zircon crystals hide in metamorphic rubble. Even diamond indicator minerals like garnet and ilmenite often blend into the dirt unnoticed. The irony is powerful. The more ordinary a stone looks, the more likely it is to be ignored. And that's exactly where opportunity lies. The earth isn't the only one hiding value. Humans do it too. We overlook the simple, chase the flashy, and miss the subtle. That's why nature's treasures often go unnoticed for centuries. Every great discovery in history began with someone curious enough to question the ordinary. So when you walk through rocky soil or a stream bed, remember, what everyone else sees as worthless may just need a second look. Look for contrasts, where color, texture, or weight changes abruptly. Study how plants grow. Vegetation often changes over mineralized soil. Notice areas where water collects or disappears. Those are zones of mineral concentration. Gold especially loves the company of quartz, ironstone, and magnetite. When rocks are exposed to flame, their hidden structures change color. Soft minerals darken, while metallic ones glow faintly. Quartz veins expand, exposing trapped gold flakes. Even gemstones react. Garnets may deepen in red, tourmaline's colors intensify, and pyrite crumbles. The fire doesn't just heat the rock, it reveals the soul within. But here's the golden rule. Use low, controlled heat. Too much fire can destroy fragile crystals or cause real gold to fuse with impurities. Old world prospectors in Africa and Australia used simple wood fires to soften stone samples before breaking them. They then quench the hot rock in water, a sudden thermal shock that fractures it naturally, making it ready for crushing. After heating, the stones are plunged into water. This isn't just to cool them, it's to create expansion fractures. The shock makes quartz and basalt crack along natural lines, freeing the trapped minerals inside. You'll often hear a sharp hiss. That's the rock splitting open. When lifted from water, these rocks reveal veins previously invisible. Tiny golden lines shimmer under sunlight, and in some, small crystals gleam like frozen lightning. It's a moment that has stunned countless prospectors when the earth literally breaks open to reveal its treasure. Once softened and fractured, the next step is manual extraction. No chemicals, no toxins, just pure physical separation. Crush the rocks gently using a hammer or flat stone until the grains loosen. Then wash the crushed material in a pan or bowl with clean water. Because gold is heavier, it settles at the bottom, while lighter materials drift away. You'll notice yellow flakes or even small rounded nuggets glistening beneath the silt. The sound of the pan swirling, the sunlight catching flecks of gold. This is the moment every prospector dreams of. Every stage, collecting, heating, cooling, and washing, mirrors the patience of nature itself. Gold didn't form in minutes, and neither will your discovery. But when it finally reveals itself, you realize something profound. It was never just about finding gold. It's about learning how the earth hides and reveals value, how the worthless becomes priceless once understood. The pattern is clear. Ignorance hides fortune. Observation creates wealth. Let's go deeper. When hydrothermal fluids, hot water mixed with dissolved minerals, move through cracks, they deposit quartz, pyrite, and sometimes gold. These fillings harden, forming veins inside otherwise dull host rocks. Over millions of years, erosion exposes parts of these veins, but most remain hidden. That's why old, oxidized, ugly rocks matter. They're records of mineral migration. Their rust-colored coatings are clues that hot fluids once passed through. Follow those stains and you follow the trail of gold. Some of the most valuable gemstones appear rock-like until processed. Opal, for instance, forms in ironstone and sandstone. Its play of color completely invisible until cut. The more ordinary a stone looks, the more likely it is to be ignored. And that's exactly where opportunity lies. Nature rewards those who respect her timing. So next time you see a rough, unattractive stone, stop, pick it up, study it. Because the universe has a strange sense of humor. It hides fortune inside what seems worthless, waiting for someone patient enough to see. And maybe, just maybe, that person is you. Nature never lies. It only hides. And if you learn to listen, you'll find that every rock, every ripple, and every trail tells a story of hidden gold. This is EGS Pro, uncovering nature's deepest secrets, one stone at a time. Subscribe for more discoveries that could change how you see the world beneath your feet.